Ew, it's interesting time to have a stroke. What's going on today? How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, dude. It's Wesday.
Yes, it is.
First of all, um, and I'll just point out that only two more shopping West days to go until Merry Christmas, Brian.
Holy crap! Yeah. In 2 weeks, so we got this West Day and next West Day, and then the following one. We really have to figure out what we're doing for launch day because I have a feeling the other guys might want to join us on a launch day for the show. So we'll have to figure that out between now and then.
Maybe they might just want to stay in their headset all day, and I certainly wouldn't blame them if that's the case.
Yeah, right. Maybe you'll take the day off and be like, it's just going to be me. It's going to be me here by myself. Be like, the other guys are so excited for PSVR2 that they couldn't take any time off to be here. Very cool.
It's all right. I gotta charge my controller sometime, right? We'll do that at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Right. Well, in that case, charge your controllers, everybody, because it's time to start the show.
Let's go.
This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on PSVR without Parole. We do it live on YouTube for your viewing pleasure, 6 p.m. Eastern, every single time, almost without fail. I have no idea what time that is in other territories. We also do it on podcast services of your choice for your oral pleasure. My name is Bryan Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and this gentleman over here, deep in the middle of the Maryland woods, it's Wes Dillon from Virtual Strangers.
What is up, Brian? What's up, Game Cats? It's 2 weeks, man. Think about that for a minute. 2 weeks. It's incredible, Brian. I'm in disbelief. It still doesn't seem real. I don't think it's going to until I see the box in my hands.
It's not real, man. Like there's no way this can actually be happening because this is what we've wanted for so long. So the only explanation is that the world's going to end, or I'm going to die. I just don't know which.
Chinese weather balloon just going to blow up one day, and it's going to be it.
But don't forget, it's the Jewish space lasers that'll make that Chinese weather balloon blow up. What has happened to the world, Wes? I can't wait to put that headset on and escape for as long as humanly possible.
Oh, God. We so need it.
We do. Guys, we also need to join our Discord because the link for that's in the description below, and that's where conversations like this happen 24/7, round the clock, sometimes long before I wake up, sometimes long after I go to bed. It's sort of the same window of time there. It's free to join, man. Click the link. Come hang out. Have some nice discussions. Also, shit is blowing up right now, man. I put out a tweet earlier, and that got a ton of traction. It got retweeted by some people with a lot of followers. Channel, I feel like, has never done better ever in a 12-hour period. So thank you. If there's any new cats here today, hello, welcome. I'll try not to screw this up. But if there are new cats here, then you probably already subscribed to Without Parole. You probably already clicked that subscribe button. What you probably haven't done is gone over to Wes Dillon's channel, which is the link for that is also in the description below, where they cover all VR, not just PlayStation VR.
All VR.
Right? And the best part about that, in my opinion, is that very frequently games come to Steam first or Quest first, and then eventually come over to PSVR, PSVR2. So that's kind of like your sneak preview for PSVR2 stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true, but I do feel like this next gen might end up monkey wrenching that whole process for me because now that we're getting on this level of parity with regards to tracking and controllers, I think PSVR is going to catch up and start to get a lot more concurrent launches than it did last gen. So, yeah.
Yeah, it does seem easier than ever to develop for PSVR2 or develop for easier than ever to develop for PSVR2 rather than PSVR1. It seemed like a total hassle just getting games running at a proper resolution on that thing. There was definitely quite a few hurdles involved in that. And so with what we've heard recently, especially what made the news very recently was the developer over at Bankrupt Games making Pavlov, talking about how PSVR 2 running on PlayStation 5 is like runs 10% faster than even like the highest end PC right now, which is, I mean, it's some craziness, Wes, is what's being spouted out there. But it also shows exactly what we've been saying for over a year now, and that's that PlayStation 5 was built with PSVR2 in mind, and that we're finally going to see exactly why this thing's going to be so special very soon.
Well, we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean specifically with PSVR2, but I mean with console gaming in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more optimized than PC, which is kind of a everything machine. When you talk about PlayStation, whether it be it PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, it's a machine that's built to do one thing, and that is game. So yeah, you're right. It was pretty amazing to have the Pavlov guy come out, which, by the way, Pavlov historically kind of a PCVR game, with a very PCVR crowd. And to have that guy, Dave, come out and basically say that he's getting 10% more performance out of his PS5 than he gets out of his rig, which is a 3090 Ti, like very high-end PC rig. Yeah, man, it's just good to get some kind of validation to what we've been saying all along.
Yeah, and it's also good to be getting some positivity for PSVR 2. It seemed like everybody and their mother was just doing their best to find ways to talk shit about the PSVR 2 for so long, whether it be the wire, whether it be the price, whether it be the launch lineup, whether it be anything you could possibly pinpoint, just to kind of shoot it down a few notches, and then here we are. As we get closer and closer to release, we're hearing hands-on impressions of Gran Turismo 7 and just how amazing that is. We're hearing the Pavlov guy, and I mean, Wes, I don't want to break embargo here, but you and I know that the emails have been rolling in for PSVR 2 games with review keys constantly, and there's been some surprises in there, and I think we'll continue to see some surprises over the course of the next couple of weeks. So whether they be launch games or launch window games or soon after launch games, the reveals for PSVR 2 are not done yet.
Yeah, one of the ones that we were talking about earlier today, like I wasn't expecting that at all, for reasons I won't get into because I don't want to give it away. But we've had some surprises lately. So yeah, there's over 100 games in development, Brian. That's what I hear.
Yeah, I'm willing to guess that number. I mean, over 100 is accurate because there could be 1,000, and that is still an accurate statement. So we're good. Hey, listen, the other reason to join our Discord is to get your viewer takeover questions onto the show. All right, all you have to do is go over there and leave them in the viewer takeover channel, and it's very likely that we'll read your questions. However, we're a little bit behind on tips, so we're going to take care of all of your questions right now. We're going to do tips first, then we're going to do viewer takeover questions, starting with Man, Bear, Pig, Game Cat with a $2 tip. Says, my prayers go out to any Game Cats in Turkey. I hope everyone in Turkey is okay. I'm super embarrassed because I have no idea what's going on in the world right now. So I will definitely find out after.
I want to say earthquake.
I did hear about an earthquake. Shit, man. Yeah, for real. Hopefully everyone is. I'm sure it's not great. Hopefully there's nothing good to say. I'm sorry. Killartist won the Dreamweaver Game Cat with $5 tip. Says, I'm deathly sick. That sucks. He says, but I'm here, guys. Can't keep a Game Cat down. LOL. Killartist, hope you do better, man. Thank you for the donation. Dead Ringer, the Game Cat with a $2 tip, says, wow, 2 weeks. Smash the like button, everyone. Dead Ringer out there doing Miles' job for him when he's not on the show. Definitely make sure you click the like button. It helps, strangely enough, with the YouTube algorithms. Make sure you subscribe, both of our channels. That also helps. But now that I think we've gotten the tips out of the way, we should probably hit up these viewer takeover questions I was referring to earlier, Wes, and the first one comes to us from The Fist of Bread. I don't know what that means. It says, is there any flat PS5 game that you'd happily pay full price again for a PSVR 2 version? He says, I don't encourage this from developers who could probably afford free VR versions just fine, like Bethesda, but I think if Returnal got a full-blown balls-to-the-wall PSVR 2 port, I would pay for it all over again. Wes, I want to hear your thoughts on this before I fucking spew all over this episode.
Well, again, and before you start spewing, I want to point out he's asking. He's not asking if we think that developers should charge. He's asking what we would pay for it if we had to pay for it. And while I would be upset if I had to pay for it, I would absolutely shell out every penny to play Returnal again. He nailed it right off the top. Returnal. I can't wait to play that in VR. And subsequently, I mean, if I had to pick something else, maybe like God of War Ragnarok, I think that would be a pretty fun VR game. But Returnal by far for me.
Man, yeah, it's really tough. I will say that I feel like we're in a little bit of a different situation than we were in the PSVR1 generation. It sounds like it's easier than ever to bring games from PS5 flat screen to PSVR2. But even though it's easier for developers to do it, the end result is so much better than it was on PSVR1, right? And so with PSVR1, where we had to rebuy Borderlands, where we had to rebuy Skyrim, it's just, they were amazing for what they were, but they certainly didn't have like the crispness and the clarity of a flat screen version. And so I feel like we're getting more now for our money. We're getting pretty much the flat screen game in VR with VRAF mechanics. And so strangely, the things that I wasn't willing to pay for last gen because the results weren't really going to be all that amazing, I would gladly pay for now. Like I would absolutely pay for BioShock VR. That's always the answer, is BioShock VR. I would pay for that again. Fallout 3 is my favorite of the Fallouts, and I would pay for that again.
Infamous.
Yeah. Yes.
Please,
I can feel that in the Sense controllers, Wes. Just saying the words infamous.
I know. It'd be awesome. So yeah, I'd definitely pay for these games all over again. And you know what? We've kind of had the concept for a while now, the hybrid gaming concept, since you started talking about it in late 2021, I think. We probably would have expected to see a few more of them for launch. But what I will say is the ones that we have seen at launch, Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
I mean, they're absolutely proving the concept out that we can have PS5 quality games in the headset without losing any quality whatsoever. It appears, of course, we have to still try the things for ourselves, but all indication is that there is zero quality loss in VR, and that's a first for VR on PlayStation or anywhere else.
Yeah. Just heads up, the main button on my mouse is like pretty much stopped working. So it's been dying for a little while. I have one coming from Amazon, but the main button is like, it's officially on its last leg. It's almost impossible to do anything right now. So I'm trying to find ways to right click and then do this thing. So that's why things will be weird for the rest of the show. Not that things are ever not weird on the show. Darth Vader, the Game Cat with a $10 tip, says, "Give me Dead Island 2 in VR. The talk of the procedural zombie gore is sounding insane. Let me slash up some zombies, Sony." I agree. Dead Island 1 was a multiplayer game that I played in single player and loved every minute of. And I would love to get the proper experience with Dead Island 2, play that shit in multiplayer, and also in VR. Those games...
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Might be the best game I've ever played, The Last of Us.
So I've been thinking about The Last of Us, right? Obviously because the TV show is on and I've been keeping up with that, but I've been thinking about The Last of Us probably more than I should. And I will say that whereas most people, I think, would say, if The Last of Us comes to VR, I want The Last of Us 1 or The Last of Us 2 just in VR, right? In first-person VR. I kind of want them to give it the Call of the Mountain treatment, honestly. And like maybe pick up the pin and move it. And like, just like Reyes, give us another character to play as in that same universe. And then maybe in your travels, you hear tales of these people who are out seeking a cure. You hear tales of Ellie and Joel, right? Just like in casual conversation, NPCs are talking as you walk by, right? But this is a new story set in that same world. Maybe reuse some of the same assets. You crisscross some of the locations that have been visited in the Last of Us world. the more I think about that, the more I really want that, which is very different from the things that I've been saying for the last 2 years, where I'm like, just give me flat screen games in VR. But Call of the Mountain is making me more excited the closer to launch that we get. And now I'm like, I want a Call of the Mountain for The Last of Us. I want this exclusive VR side story that you just can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it would be a difficult decision if I had to pick either or, because I just love the story of the first game so much.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of opportunities in the timeline to tell epic stories. I mean, you have something like 20 years between the prologue of The Last of Us and where the game actually starts. You know, Joel was surviving in the apocalypse that entire time, and we could get a lot of. I mean, we wouldn't even need a new character. I mean, you could still play as Joel. We get a lot more character development, a lot more background on how he became the person that he eventually became. You could follow Joel's brother. A lot of time he's away and out of the story. We could. I mean, he was a member of the Fireflies. He member of another fringe group. Lots of opportunity there to tell a story and kind of fit it in with characters we're already familiar with and get to know them better. There's a lot of opportunities there. I would want it to be a full-fledged, heart-wrenching tale, though. I wouldn't want like it'd be harder for me to accept it in the form of like an 8-hour typical VR campaign. Like I need my 15 to 20 hours epic tale if we're going to do The Last of Us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't certainly don't want short. Just because it's a side story does not mean I want it to be a short experience by any stretch. Future Bassmaster in the chat. It's actually Future Bassmaster 1. So I guess this is not the official Future Bassmaster that we all know and love. With the $3 tip says Hogwarts Legacy is now a new dream VR game. I mean, the Harry Potter fans out there are going to fucking dig this shit, right? And so we haven't really gotten a great wizardry game in VR. We had The Wizards, which was what it was. It was a wave shooter disguised as an adventure. And we had The Mage's Tale, which was like, I don't know, kind of like fun but janky. And then there was and then there was Wands, the one-on-one 1v1 wand fighting game. This is the game that I think we really want.
Yeah, there was some other stuff on PC that never made it over. Well, namely the sequel to The Wizards, Dark Times, which was actually pretty decent. There was another versus game. I want to say that it may have even been from Insomniac, called Unspoken or something like that. And it was kind of like a dueling game, multiplayer, that was really good. But yeah, this Harry Potter game looks amazing, and a Harry Potter VR game is something we've been calling for a very long time, and the level of detail that they've put into the environments and characters in this game, from what I can tell, is just off the charts awesome. So yeah, that's going to be another one that's awesome in VR. Already, people are playing it in VR on PC.
I saw Proud Dog's mod. Is that who it was?
Yeah, Prey Dog.
Dog.
It's the
Proud Dog.
It's it's the universal VR injector, and pretty much what this mod does is it makes any Unreal Engine game into a VR game. It has a very wide list of compatibility. It's going to be a revolution for PC VR gamers. It really is. I mean, it's going to make the catalog go from zero to like the best thing ever overnight whenever they finally launch it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that mod is a good indicator as to what we can expect on PSVR2. Getting the core stuff over fairly easily into VR, and then the developers having, the resources to make it VR AF, as we like to say.
I think it's an indicator of what the next gen versions of the game engines are going to bring. Yeah. I think VR is going to become something that you can just flip a switch on in the engine very soon. And then, it's just up to the developers then to implement whatever kind of control variants or whatever that they want to make available in the game. But I think it's about to become very easy to make flat games into VR games.
Shades of Grey Matter says, Prey Dog should be a proud dog after releasing the UEVR injector. Let's hope. Let's hope. Man, I hate screwing up names so much. It seems so disrespectful. But
Proud Dog is in the chat, so.
Oh, I knew that. Oh, okay. There he is. He's like, yo, Proud Dog, do you also make VR mods? Just say yes to make me feel better. I'll say, oh, I was referring to the other dog.
Yeah, the other dog, right?
That's what it is.
Proud Dog, the game cat?
Or Roof, one or the other. I don't know. Man, let's get to the news at hand. And that is, obviously, I think, for some of us at least, it was a bit of a shock to wake up to Twitter and all sorts of content creators basically posting pictures of their PlayStation VR2 review unit that showed up in the mail either today or yesterday or whenever it was, but apparently the embargo lifted today for them to say that they have one and to take pictures of the exterior of the box. Wes, this is, okay, listen, my petty jealousy aside, this is so fucking exciting, dude. We're so close to like just an explosion of PSVR2 news, videos, impressions. The hype machine is about to begin. And of course, it has nothing to do with Sony. It has everything to do with the people who have been carrying PSVR all this time. And so, dude, it seems like the embargoes for actual coverage of this thing lift next week. So we could be less than 7 days out from tons and tons of hands-on impressions. How excited are you for that?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a sign of the times, right? It's an indicator that we are actually here, and it is actually happening. If they were going to push it back or do something stupid and crazy like that, this wouldn't be happening right now. It's also an indicator that I got to move to the UK, bro. This whole USA thing's just not working out for me.
Yeah, that seemed to be the case because we were seeing a lot of UK influencers and YouTubers be the ones who got it. But there's certainly people in the States who got it too. So,
oh, really? I haven't seen any of those.
I mean, unless I've got my signals crossed, which is a total possibility. But it's yeah, man. It's this thing is not getting delayed. This thing is literally 2 weeks from coming out. And I think that lots of secrets are about to be revealed, and a lot of people are about to get really fucking excited about this. What's the first thing you want to see, man? Like, obviously, like, you know, as a content creator yourself, which is a term that I despise, but I use religiously for some reason. What would be the first thing you want to see from some of the cats that got this out there?
Well, I mean, the first thing I would want to see, not from the people who picked it up, but from Sony in general, is our long fabled PSVR showcase next Tuesday. Please and thank you. I know that's not going to happen. That was kind of a joke. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, it's going to be nice to have more validation out there from people who are VR enthusiasts. You know, we had a nice round of Gran Turismo promo last week, but that was all from like the larger video game industry guys. It wasn't from people that play VR every day. So it'll be good to kind of hear what those VR enthusiasts think about Gran Turismo, if it's as great as it seems to be. Village, I pretty much know what to expect with. Horizon, I pretty much know what to expect with. I mean, it would be cool if there was another surprise in terms of launch titles, which I don't expect that. I don't know. I'd say if I had to, what I'm most looking forward to is, like I just said, Gran Turismo impressions from experienced VR guys.
I think I'm with you. I think the thing I'm most interested to hear specifically though would be just the quantity of people sort of going to bat for PSVR2 and talking about like what a huge upgrade it is over the stuff that we have. Because the impressions so far have been really spotty. They've been here, they've been there. Some of them, like your impressions, Wes, have been under not so ideal conditions. And so people actually getting to play these things at home under ideal conditions and actually being able to take the time to appreciate every nuance, the headset rumble, the adaptive triggers, and like really just sit there and go, I'm this isn't a timed 10-minute thing or anything else. I can just soak this in and really be immersed and enjoy it because I have all the time in the world to play it now. And so what would happen over the last few months where people got to play it, ever since I think September, where that first press event happened, you would hear a lot of positivity, but then people would like clasp on to the one negative thing that somebody would say. This even happened very recently with Nathy's video, right? Who that inexplicably just got taken down, where he said something not so great about the lenses. And this was the first time we'd heard that. So everyone grabbed onto that and said, "Oh my God, is there a problem with the lenses?" You know, ignoring all the positivity we'd seen from place after place after place. And then this whole thread that I saw about he was wearing the headset wrong, and it's like, dude, like we're 2 weeks away at this point. Like, let's just fucking see for ourselves, right? And so the next best thing to seeing for ourselves is a ton of people all dropping their impressions, and if a ton of people all say, "Oh, there's a problem with the lenses," then we go, "Oh, okay, there might be something up here." But the quantity actually really helps in this case, because if there's a problem, we'll know, and if there's not a problem, we'll also know.
I think sometimes people get overly critical of certain things because they don't want to just become part of the chorus, right? They want to say something different and have a unique take. This whole thing with the lenses, though, it's very, very reminiscent of the thing with the cable in the early days. So, like, people made a big deal about the cable when it got announced and started pretending like we haven't been playing high-end VR with a cable this whole time. And it's kind of the same thing with these lenses. Like, people are being highly critical because PSVR2 has Fresnel lenses in it, but all consumer VR headsets have Fresnel lenses in it. Now, sure, we're getting new products out this year that have pancake lenses. Yeah, but it's not like we've had that yet. Like, it's a very, very new thing. So I kind of get I kind of get it from the perspective, like, okay, if you expect this to be a cutting edge for 5 years, it's not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The games will, and it's not like it's going to become instantly outdated because it has Fresnel lenses and a cable on it. Like, it's just funny because these same people that are critical of these things now, they haven't been critical of them before now, and they've been using cables and Fresnel lenses the whole time. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it other than that.
Yeah, no, interesting take for sure. But anyway, that I just think the quantity is so important here that, like, right, it's we're going to hear from so many different people about the quality, and of course I see some people in the chat being like, yeah, I mean, it's not all going to be positives, right? There's certainly, as good as this thing is going to be, fingers crossed, like there's gonna be something that we're like, oh man, that's really weird that they didn't include that. I'm already a little bit irked that there's no volume buttons on the thing, right? It's like, or like a mute button on the headset, because when you cough, you don't have time to go into the menu, select mute. I can't even do it on Discord, man. Like, I need a button of and to mute myself before I cough or sneeze in somebody's face. So the volume buttons and the mute button not being on the headset itself, I'm already like, come on, guys. Like, so there will be things that other people have issues with, for sure. We got some news, man. We got some news. We got some tips. And we got to take care of these tips, right? Because, you know what happens when we don't take care of the tips. Well, then no one's taking care of the shaft. We got Josh Zoski. Why can't I speak today? With a $5 tip, says, how about a God of War VR? Blades of Chaos and the axe with motion controllers, and where's a new Astrobot game? I've always thought the chains would be cool. If you're able to, like, simulate the feeling of chains, like running through your hand in the Sense controllers, and give it any kind of impact with that. I thought that'd be damn cool. But again, I think it may have to be a separate type game, or they have to alter the combat significantly. I don't know. What do you think the new Astrobot game is, Wes?
I think that I'm not so sure how soon that we're going to get that. I'm very confident that it's in development. I'm very confident it's going to be a hybrid game, and it's going to as always, it's going to approach the technology in a different way than we've seen before. This is just all stuff that I've been able to discern from what they've been saying. They also went on a big hiring spree, Team Asobi, the other day. They're bringing in a bunch of people. Now, I don't know if that's for Astrobot specifically. Uh, it, if that's the case, then it may be a little further off than we thought it was going to be. But it could be for a different title, and Astrobot could be right around the corner. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I do think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be big budget, and it's going to be a big deal when it launches.
Yeah. I think people are jumping the gun a little bit when they're saying, oh, why the fuck isn't there an Astrobot game at launch? Or why isn't there an Astrobot game in development? Why haven't we seen an Astrobot game? Sony hasn't said a lot, man. I think the biggest thing that Sony has said specifically about their first party stuff is Call of the Mountain. And like that's sort of what they're hinging the entire launch on right now as far as first party stuff is concerned, along with the stuff that they paid for, like Resident Evil Village. Gran Turismo, I guess, shouldn't be overlooked. That's a big fucking title. So this is big stuff. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they haven't done anything. Like they haven't done a showcase. They haven't done a state of play focused on PSVR2. So, you know, I think we'll see that soon enough. And I'd be shocked, Wes, if Astrobot wasn't there.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned Gran Turismo 7, and, you know, again, I'd like to point out how amazing everyone is saying that game is and how amazing it looks. The head of the studio over there at Polyphony the other day came out and said pretty much that from the onset of development of Gran Turismo 7, it's been built with VR in mind the whole time. And I think that's what we're going to get from the next Astrobot game. I think it's going to launch as a flat title that you can also play in VR. And I think they're developing it with both in mind from the very beginning. And I think we're going to see a few titles like this from first party studios that play in both modes, in both methods, and again, being designed with both in mind from the very beginning, which is going to make for a lot better experience in VR than games that just kind of get ported over and shoehorned into the VR headset later on.
Yeah. We got PK or PK with the €6 says, do you think that we can use infrared lamp to play PSVR2 in the dark like we can with the Quest 2? I mean, based on how Inside Out tracking works, then yeah, right?
I would think so. If there's any kind of differences to the way this is being tracked from other headsets, then I'm not aware of it. I would assume that an IR lamp would work just fine for this. It's going to be a bit of a different thing for people who only game on PSVR, though, because you're literally going from a headset that works better in the dark to one that won't work at all in the dark. You have to have a well lit room, so it's kind of going to be a culture shock for a few people.
Yeah. Now, I feel like I need to preface this by saying I think my memory might be deceiving me. But I feel like I was just talking to a developer recently who mentioned that they were playing PSVR 2 in the dark, and it wasn't a problem. So you might not even need the special lamp. Well, again, one of the many things that I can't wait to test once we have these things in our hands to see exactly what the capabilities are. But yeah, that's it was.
Yeah, you know. And that kind of reminds me of the question you asked about earlier, kind of what would we like to see from this early round of content from the people that have them.
Yeah.
If I had one, AMA, like I've got the headset on my face, I'm running a game, ask me anything, we'll go through everything right now.
All right.
Maybe that's what we'll do on Wesdays.
You're giving me too many ideas, man. I've already got like 40 videos in my head that I want to make.
Good luck with that.
Josh Cat with the $5 tip says, just in case you don't know, Brian, GameCats are furious that you didn't get a review headset. We love you and support you, but sometimes life isn't fair. It's okay, man. It's okay. You know, I said this in Discord earlier, that Dave Station used to call without parole, meaning me, AJ, and Dave at the time, the punk rockers of PSVR. And that meant we were doing things our own way, on our own terms, and like it or not, that's how things will continue. Whether whether we have the option or not. Bitjello Boy 30, that jiggly gamer cat with a $5 tip says, hopefully we don't get a Steve in every PSVR2 box. May want to check for air holes in your box. Love you guys and love the content. You got to wonder if Steve knows he's a running gag around here.
I don't know, but I hope not, man, because Steve is really a nice guy. He's just trying to do his job, guys. And I guess maybe some of the other booth attendants were a little more lax. They just don't care about their job. Steve was trying to do what he was supposed to do, and for what it's worth, Steve knew who we were. So, like, we got to give him a little bit of credit.
What up, Steve? If you're watching, we love you. We like you. Well,
Steve IRE in the chat says, "Hey."
Not all Steves.
Not you.
Steve,
not you.
Please don't show up in my PlayStation VR2 box, Steve IRE. Polish Paul VR, PSVR2 news in games with the 2 quid. Shameless self-promotion, Polish Paul, but thanks for showing up. He says, no PSVR2 for you. Did Polish Paul get one? Did anybody bother to ask? Or was that silly to even assume that he might?
I mean, I wouldn't assume that he didn't.
Yeah.
Did you get one, Paul?
It is crazy. I will say I was shocked by who got one. And again, not throwing shade. I'm happy for everyone who did. But when I look at like their subscriber count or their Twitter followers or whatever, I was like, oh, what do you do? Like, what is your thing that you do where like you were on a list somewhere? Because I was like, who are these people, right? Like you'd expect to know most of the people covering VR or PlayStation VR, but there were a few names that I was just totally unfamiliar with. So I don't know. I'm surprised, and so if Paul got one, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's who you know. It's all who you know, Brian.
And I know Crackle.
That's why I'm going to be very confrontational in San Francisco next month. I'm going to ask him what the deal is.
Oh God! Like we need to get further down the shit list. We got Genetic Blasphemy with a $2 tip. Says mute is the same button as see-through. You kept accidentally going into see-through mode, didn't you, Wes?
A couple of times because I have a V1 PSVR headset, and the see-through button on the PSVR2 headset is where the thumb area on the right side of the headset. So literally, I'm trying to work the visor, right, and I'm just keep pressing this see-through button. I did it a couple of times. I didn't do it a bunch. I did 2 or 3 times though.
Dude, if this keeps up, I just switched, by the way, to my camera when I was picking my nose. Usually I have to pick my nose. I switch away from my camera and then pick my nose, but I was in the middle of it when I switched back. That was on me. No one else is running the show. So you're welcome. Dude, dude, we gotta get the rest of these tips out of here. We got Renadzov with the 2 rupees. Says, any idea if RE4 remake will be the full game in VR? No one knows. That is a big mystery. That is almost as big of a mystery as Abandoned. So hopefully we'll get some more information on RE4 soon. Any speculation on that, Wes? Any conspiracy theories?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I do think we're going to know soon, though, because we're starting to learn more about RE4 now. There's gameplay dropping every few days, and I don't know if you've seen any of that, but it looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we're going to know. I think we're going to know soon. I would imagine they're just going to let this village launch come and go, and then after that, they're going to completely turn their focus on the RE4, and I would imagine we'll hear an announcement soon thereafter.
Yeah, I think it's, if I was a betting man, I would bet the reason we haven't heard anything for a while is because they want to focus on Village, right? They want to capitalize on extra Village sales, and they don't want people going, oh, 4 is my favorite, and, I'm just going to wait for that, right? They kind of want you to buy everything they possibly can, don't want to cannibalize their own sales. And, of course, the other theory out there is that this would somehow interfere with some exclusivity agreement that Oculus had with the RE4 VR version. I have a hard time believing that, but anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't think there's any kind of exclusivity thing going on now. Like maybe during the initial announcement, there might have been something in place. Not anymore. You're absolutely right, Brian. Right now, it's all about selling Village And then again, I don't think it'll be long after that we'll learn um, exactly what they have in mind, because they're going to want VR players to buy this game when it's expensive before it goes on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going to tout every little feature that they can right out the gate. So again, stay tuned.
Where's my mute button? Wes.
So this is what you have to look forward to on PSVR2, people. Bryan with no mute button,
Oh
just
my God.
hacking up in your face all day.
PSVR without parole. Cough Central. Jesus. Holy crap. I was just trying to fix the chat. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. That was awful. Oh, and pardon me, Tornado. She's just going to come over. Please don't sit on the keyboard. Come on. Here, go chase after this. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. Here, go. Hey. Look, here it is. Here, go get it. Good girl. All right, go. Okay. She's been just like fucking sitting on the keyboard recently, and so like weird shit will happen while I'm trying to work, and she's like laying on 7 keys at once.
Yeah, my Tommy does the same thing.
I mean, they're adorable. It's hard to get mad, but I mean, it's like I'm trying to do a show, bud. I have no idea what we're talking about. Oh, dude. So listen, while we're in the middle of tips, I do want to give a shout out to Godgiven, somebody who tipped during the last show and did not. I knew I missed a tip. I hate when I miss tips, but sometimes it's going to happen. So I apologize in advance, you guys. But Godgiven had left a tip. And I tracked him down on Discord and answered his question, but he never responded. So I don't know if you're watching Godgiven. I'm very, very sorry that we missed your tip, and please check your Discord DMs for your answer to your question. Not Nuke with the 9 quid says, seems like the next year is going to be full of big releases all the way to the holidays. Christmas blockbuster, Half-Life Pigeon. Pigeon is what he meant to write.
There are pigeons in Half-Life, if I remember correctly,
Well,
and Alex. So maybe we'll get a crossover between Half-Life Alex and the
VR Pigeon,
whatever that VR Pigeon. Yeah, I don't know. I think I agree with what's being said there. I think the holiday season is going to be amazing for PSVR. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody out there is hoping for Half-Life Alyx still and was like, and is disappointed why you haven't heard anything, look at all the games that have been announced for launch, right? Just allow those games to sort of gestate in people's minds and let those games sell. And then soon enough, we'll hear Sony talk about what the future plans are, what the roadmap for PSVR2 is, and hopefully, because we do need kind of a killer holiday 2023 title. You know, that's still technically, I don't know, what, about 8 months away. It needs to come out in the next 8 or 9 months. So Alyx would be one of those games that would be a killer title for PSVR 2. So I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, we'll get a big title or two for summertime. Around E3 time, they'll start to throw us some bones, and then toward I think typically historically, July and August is when we get announcements, and then the games really start to roll in after that.
Yeah. Jay Forey with $5 Australian says, I'd like to see multiplayer survival and base building games in VR, like Rust or Conan Exiles. Defending your base from raiders in VR would be epic. How much
Rust would be great.
How much of Ghost of Tabor does this sound like? Have you been following that game much?
That game was completely off of my radar. I had heard the title. I knew that there were a few people that were excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really interested until I saw you on the Perp Game Showcase, kind of showing that game off a little bit. And now I'm kind of interested in it. A lot of people compare that game to Escape from Tarkov.
Mm-hmm.
If that's true, that game is going to be really something, because Tarkov is probably the most involved shooter that I've ever seen. Like it's hardcore, man, and you pretty much have to commit your life to that game to play it on a regular basis. So it'll be interesting to see if Tabor's like that. But I don't know, man. I'm pretty impressed with what I saw during the showcase, and definitely interested in learning more about it.
Make a cool face in case we crash, all right? Because I'm about to switch trailers and it might not go well. Oh, damn, we didn't crash. Craziness. Whenever we plan on it, it doesn't happen. Yeah, no, actually, our friend, he's in the chat. Albert was actually streaming Ghost. Nope, not Ghost of Tabor. Escape from Tarkov in our Discord in the voice chat, so I could see what it was all about. And holy crap, dude, yeah, there's a lot going on there. It looks like a brutally difficult game. Base building is such a bigger mechanic than I expected it to be. And so if Ghost of Tabor does take that much inspiration from Escape from Tarkov, then I think we're in for a treat. I think this might be the game that a lot of people are looking for, including our friend Jay, who tipped. Jay Forey. Onikazi with the $5 tip says, "Knock me over with a feather." It feels like a very old person expression. No offense, Onikazi. It didn't help that I also said, "Knock me over with a feather," because now it sounds like somebody old said it. Also, I'm old. That's right, Tiff. Get over it. If I expected any YouTuber to get a PSVR2 before launch, I would have expected it to be you. Thank you very much, Onikazi. We do bust our ass over here, but we don't have control of the world. Unfortunately, Pietrek F with the 12 plantains quotes Kazunori. It says, GT7 is the best VR experience humankind can have. I mean, it's very possible. And now that I have a racing rig, I believe it more than ever.
The game looks so beautiful. I can't believe I'm as excited for GT7 as I am now. Like, unexpected.
Oh, dude, I'm with you. I'm completely with you. No desire to play a sim racer at all anymore whatsoever. But the second that you say VR, I'm totally down. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get $700 worth of racing out of Gran Turismo 7, right? Like, I mean, it's right now you and I are excited about it, Wes, but that doesn't guarantee that we're going to stay there, that we're going to like stick with it and just pump hours and hours and hours into this thing, getting our licenses and winning championships and unlocking the menus. I hope it does mean that. I hope that we get to have a little Gran Turismo 7 segment on every single show that we do. But man, I need an arcade racer to go along with it. I need a Ridge Racer. I need a Burnout. I need a... What else do we got?
Wipeout.
Did you say Wipeout?
Yeah, I said Wipeout. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I concur wholeheartedly with what you're saying there. I think that the Gran Turismo 7 is going to be a godsend during downtimes. So like when we work our way through the initial launch games and we have a little way to go before Saints and Sinners 2 gets here and Switchback, maybe we dive into GT7 for a week to 10 days. And then, so on and so forth. During the downtimes, it's going to be a blessing to have a game with just so much content and such high quality to fall back onto.
I was about to move on, but Jay Foria sent us another Australian $10 tip. Says, new research a few weeks ago shows nose picking, oh, here we go, is linked to Alzheimer's disease. The germs on your fingers get past germ filter hairs in the front of your nose. Keep the fingers out of there, gentlemen and ladies, obviously. We don't want... And dude, Alzheimer's runs in my family, too. So unless my grandmother was just a chronic nose picker and we didn't know, there might be something genetically. But dude, yeah, if Alzheimer's is linked to picking your nose, like, just say goodbye to me, man. Like, I am a nose picker through and through.
Yeah, I'd be done. It's also linked to metal toxicity as well, like aluminum specifically.
What?
There's links to artificial sweeteners causing Alzheimer's. There's lots of different things that they link to Alzheimer's disease. So who knows if any of it's true or if all of it's true.
Who knows if any of it's true? I just thought, by the way, just before we went live, I remember seeing a kind of funny tweet with Blessing Adeoye Jr. Holding his PlayStation VR2 box. So definitely out to US people as well. And they deserve it, for all the support they gave PSVR 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
I paused for laughter, Wes.
I don't know who you're talking about. I know who kind of funny is, but that other thing you said after that, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. And if anybody's been keeping up, Greg Miller and I are having one hell of a time trying to figure out what day he should come on. He bailed on me for this. I think it was next Wednesday he was supposed to be on. I can't remember. Maybe it was supposed to be this Wednesday. I fucking forgot. I can't remember. But he asked me what I was doing launch day, and I said launch day I'm going to be scrambling to like get first impression videos and content and reviews made. I was like, so once launch rolls around, it might be game off, but we'll keep you posted on that front. I still love Kind of Funny despite their negative criticisms as far as VR and PSVR is concerned. I would never stop watching them just for that. All right, man. Well, that moves us on to the other cool thing that we saw this morning when we woke up. I don't know what time you woke up, but when I woke up, because I fucking slept in, Wes, I saw a new trailer on the PlayStation YouTube channel for PSVR2. It was another teaser showing off the innovative features of PSVR2. It was very, very focused on innovation. Now, it wasn't terribly different from the first teaser, but it did show some different gameplay. So I'm going to go full screen over here. I think we can do this. There we go. And let's see if I can do this over here, because I do want a little bit of sound. Hopefully that works. And I want to be able to pause when necessary, which is not something, strangely, I can do with normal videos in OBS. That's going to have to do, I think. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It's not framed very well. My apologies. First, before we even play this thing, Wes, what did you think about it? Is Sony finally?
I was excited to see it because, like you, I woke up. This thing hadn't been out an hour yet when I got up, and as soon as you start watching it, right at the top it says something like PlayStation VR games in development or something like that, and I was like, oh, maybe we're gonna get some new game footage here.
We kind of did a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit,
right.
kind of.
Not a ton, some. But it takes us through all the features that we've seen before and uses a game for each feature to demonstrate. So it kicks us off with some lightning that I don't believe we had seen this scene before in Horizon Call of the Mountain. This is the very beginning of it. And then let's see what happens next. I can't wait. What could it be? All right, so then it brings us to the 4K HDR display, which is going to be amazing. And then it uses which game to show it off? Horizon Call of the Mountains has experienced stunning, vivid new worlds. Are these this is, I think, the best choice game for this specific feature, Wes. I didn't tell you we were going to do this ahead of time, but I feel like we should make a game out of this and be like, was this the best choice? Was this the best game that Sony could have picked for each of these features to show off?
I would argue, yeah, probably, because how many people are going to get excited for Kayak VR Mirage, like in terms of a title to show off and sell your headset? So yeah, they probably went with the right one there, but I mean, Kayak is going to be something special to look at, graphically speaking.
Yeah, you know what? They did feature Horizon quite a bit in this trailer, so they obviously could have made some space for Kayak VR Mirage. And considering it does go for photorealism, I would say even more so than Horizon, because Horizon looks stunning, but it's stylized, right? I don't look at it and go, wow, that looks like a real jungle. I go, that looks like a Horizon jungle. Which different important distinction to make, I think. Moving on.
And when you play Kayak, you're going to be like, wow, wouldn't it be great if they made a game like this?
This is what I keep hearing about Kayak, is that like it's fun for 20 minutes and then you've sort of seen everything and done everything.
It's amazing for about an hour.
Okay.
Like, it's amazing for about an hour. And then you're just kind of like, okay. I mean, again, they have some game-like things that you can keep doing if you want an excuse to stay in there. But
everyone corrected me, by the way. The Game Awards trailer. I forgot that we got that trailer, right? Because that kind of came and went. But yeah, no, everybody's right. We saw the lightning scene in the Game Awards, so that was not even new. Experienced stunningly vivid new worlds. Moving on, watching the. Okay. Tempest 3D Audio Tech. Let's see what game they use to... Yes, they say they show off Gran Turismo 7. Hear the thrill of the race from every direction. Was this the right game, Wes, or was there a better choice?
I think probably so. Now, specifically, when I start thinking about the possibilities of 3D audio, my mind goes straight to the horror games, but my mind goes straight to horror games all the time anyway. So yeah, they probably picked the right one. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, probably the right one. Although there's a case to be made for GT7 and haptics too, because it's going to be pretty pretty prominent from what I understand in the game.
So I think if they were also throwing in PSVR1 remasters into this video, I think Pistol Whip would have been a great choice. Because I'm assuming, I don't know, the Pistol Whip developers have talked quite a bit about the PSVR2 features that they're using, and I do think that bullets, and again, might be a better choice to use the headset haptics for Pistol Whip, because they actually say you can feel bullets whizzing past your head with the haptics in the headset, which is craziness. I think that's going to be amazing, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm just really happy to see Gran Turismo included in this, because obviously it hadn't been announced during the Feel the New Real trailer. And it needed to be in here. People need to see Gran Turismo 7 front and center. I'm very excited that it's here.
All right, I'm going to change my answers then if we're going like that, and I'm just going to say that the whole trailer should have just been Tetris Effect for every category.
Yeah. But no. I'm a bigger Res Infinite fan than I am a Tetris Effect fan. So
I am too. But I am too. I love Res is one of my favorite games. What I mean by that is I've never played a game that incorporates all your senses quite the way that Tetris Effect does, where the things you're doing on the gamepad affects what you see visually. The things you see visually, you feel in the haptics, and it all kind of works together. Every button press makes a little sound, which you feel in the haptics. Like I've never played another game that's kind of has this synesthesia to it, where all your senses kind of work together to get you into like a flow state.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I mean by that.
A lot of people in the chat are definitely saying, like Muse is in the chat saying, or Muzz, I don't know how you pronounce that. Gran Turismo 7 is good for 3D audio, sounds of the cars all around you, plus the sound of the rain on your car. Now, there's something I didn't take into account. I saw, obviously, there's rain in quite a few of the videos we've seen recently. You see it like kind of like moving up your dashboard as you fly down the track. But I didn't think that you could actually be able to hear the rain hit the windshield. And that's a crazy thought. Very, very excited for this.
Agreed.
Hit and play. More Gran Turismo scenes, which is nice. All right, now we're into the haptic feedback. They are showing... What game is it? What game is it? Resident Evil Village. And they say, sense the power of your weapons. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I would have chosen this. Sense the power of your weapons.
I don't even remember that. I remember Resident Evil being in the thing, but I didn't think it was in that context of haptics. No, man. I think Pistol Whip's a good fit here. I think that Switchback is a good fit here, because I mean you're on roller coaster tracks firing guns. Like the haptics should be nuts in that game. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a miss, actually.
I agree with you, and I know it's kind of tough for you to see exactly what I'm seeing at the exact same time. After they show your character reloading the shotgun, they show the melee weapon, like what would be a knife or something, where you're punching the glass and breaking the glass so you can have access to a cupboard or a cabinet or something. So maybe in that context, this one's more of a win.
There's some potential there, actually. I keep forgetting the potential of the haptics in the controllers, because again, when I played it with Horizon, it was just kind of being used as a more traditional kind of haptics in it, and um, I keep forgetting, what I experienced with the DualSense playing the Astrobot demo. So if they have that kind of haptics where everything has a very unique feel, I can actually uh, I can actually see a situation where you punch through that glass or cut through it with your knife and it feels like glass.
Mm.
That we're talking that level of haptics are possible. So yeah, maybe we're just wrong, Brian, and the haptics in Resident Evil 7 or 8 are just that amazing. We just don't know it yet.
Us wrong? Never. Very likely. All right, let's move on. Oh, and dude, the very last scene of that segment was tossing your pistol from one hand to another and catching it, which, if you're really feeling that weapon land in your hand, like a little something extra there that I wasn't considering either. 110-degree field of view. Let's see what game. There it is, Switchback VR. Immerse yourself into the horror. Probably the 110-degree field of view. Not a huge improvement over the PSVR 100-degree field of view, but any improvement is awesome. And with enemies coming at you from, I'm sure, the edges of the screen or edges of your viewing area, the more you can see, the better, right?
Yeah, and I mean specifically, a game like Switchback benefits from that because when you're on like a roller coaster sim, having that wider field of view gives you a greater sense of movement. And beyond that, one of my favorite things of the original Rush of Blood that I don't feel like people talk about enough are the environments, especially the outdoors environments. I thought were even today look awesome and feel very immersive and realistic. So yeah, having a little more field of view to kind of take everything in, and something else that wider field of view might help with in that game is there are branching paths, and if it's like the original one, you've only got a couple seconds to make your move and decide which way you're going to go. So you want to see that as early on as possible, and make sure you don't miss the switches. So yeah, I can see it.
Is this the only scene they gave us going into that like demonic head? That's the only scene they gave us. With all the other games, they gave us more scenes, but with Switchback, they were just like, here you go. Which, okay, I'm sure the chat's going to correct me because I'm always wrong, but we had seen a lot of Switchback prior in the in the reveal teaser. We've seen a lot of different scenes. We haven't seen extended scenes, but we've seen a lot of small scenes, bits of scenes, and with Switchback, I was kind of curious if if there would be something like the Carnival Barker from Rush of Blood, kind of introducing you to each level and like slowly pushing you on your way. And that's exactly what that looked like when you're going into the Demon's Head. It's like, okay, this is what you do before the level begins. So a little bit curious if there's, especially with it being a $40 game, Wes, we talked about this before. Our dreams of Rush of Blood 2 was like, give us the whole amusement park, give us stuff to do off the rails, right? And I'm curious to know if there's any of that, which I wouldn't be disappointed if there wasn't. Save it for Rush of Blood 3. But with the $40 price tag, I'm a little bit curious if there's something they're not telling us quite yet.
That would be great. My kind of journey with this game since it got announced has been an interesting one. It came out, and obviously it was announced, and I probably haven't been as excited for any other announcement than I was for that. Super excited, but then it got delayed, and I was kind of okay with that. Like there's so much stuff that's going to be out next week.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know what? It's good that we have something to look forward to a month later, other than Saints and Sinners 2. But now, as we're getting there, and it's 2 weeks away, I'm starting to kind of get bummed again that I'm not going to be able to play this one on day one.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been when people say, "What are the first 3 games you're going to play? What are the first 5 games you're going to play?" This was one that was pretty much always in those lists. But then Gran Turismo 7 got announced, and like probably would have been pushed out of my top 3 at that point to number 4. However, this is a game we're very, very excited about, and we'll have some more information on it soon. Vitaphone, vision-sound, which is just a lot of nouns all kind of smushed together. With a $10 tip says people's hopes on Reddit are super high. Some people think you are holding an ace up your sleeve and you have a source in Sony having some kind of reveal. Please confirm or deny. You have a source on Sony having some kind of reveal. I always hear rumblings, and I'm sure Wes hears rumblings, and AJ hears rumblings, and now Miles is hearing rumblings. There's always, people are always talking about reveals and events, and all I can tell you is that there was one. We were supposed to see one already. There was already supposed to be a reveal. There was already supposed to be a showcase or of some kind. And there was supposed to be one a while ago, but it keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And so it does seem like that will still happen before launch. But the last thing I want to say is, yes, we definitely know this is happening because we've just been wrong so many times. And so there's just no way to kind of like tackle that properly anymore. Wes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. I don't know if they'll ever do another showcase at this point.
Sony's just relying 100% on the PlayStation blog at this point. This is it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
At least till next gen. They're just coasting right now.
Yeah. Barb Zarkov, the underground game cat in the chat, says, I hear rumbling, but only when I eat Taco Bell. I am with you, sir. The rumblings are real.
You're here.
Adaptive triggers, West. That's the next one they're showing here. And I gotta say, I know that I'm not sure if these are the exact same 3D animations that they used for the last trailer. I'd have to actually go and compare the two, but I really do like these. I think it's giving a pretty accurate visual description of what adaptive triggers actually means. They're showing Pistol Whip, which I'd kind of forgotten about when we were talking about one of the earlier ones. So they are showing PSVR 1 remasters here, which puts a lot more cards on the table, of which games they could have picked from. But I think this is a good choice. This might be the right place for this, considering what Cloudhead Games has said on the PlayStation blog about the adaptive triggers and about how the closer you get to running out of ammo, the trigger actually feels different. And so it's one of those, not a visual indicator anymore, but a physical indicator where you kind of know when to reload just from the feel of the trigger.
Yeah, not a bad choice, Pistol Whip. When I think about the possibilities of the adaptive triggers, I tend to think about more, realistic games than arcadey ones. So but then, the games that really stick out to me aren't launch titles. Like Firewall is one of the games I think about when I think about adaptive triggers. Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, I think about a lot with it. And even a game like Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge that has a fairly decent size arsenal of weapons. That's kind of one of the main selling points of the new version of that game is that the weapons all feel different. But yeah, Pistol Whip's a good one as well. I mean, it's Pistol Whip. Yeah. There's a really large arsenal now in Pistol Whip, so yeah, makes sense.
I think your suggestion of Tales from the Galaxy's Edge is a great choice, considering again that on the PlayStation blog, the developers over at ILM XLab went on to say about how every weapon feels different in your hands when you fire it in that game, and these are things I'm looking forward to. I'm not a huge gun guy, right? I'm like, I like shooting guns and I like killing things in games. But as far as like the different types of weapons, I've never cared all that much other than which one do I like the best when I play, right? And these are the kind of things that make me go, oh, maybe I'll start caring a little bit more about, the minor differences between different weapons. Should we hit play, Wes?
Sure.
All right. You feel the action at your fingertips with Pistol Whip. There they are. Boom, boom. Killing people. Finger touch detection.
While we're still on Pistol Whip, which we're probably not at this point, right?
Yeah, whatever.
I like to think about the possibilities of eye tracking in that game because the way the enemies come in and they're on all different kind of planes. Some of them are ground level. Some of them are higher up. I wonder if they're going to put any kind of eye tracking based aim assist into it, because it would really change that game
Yeah.
quite a bit, actually.
I mean, they had aim assist, right? Like as a regular option, just a straight up aim assist, which you could turn off. So doing eye tracking aim assist would be pretty cool too.
Yep.
Yeah. So the finger touch detection, they bring up Crossfire Sierra Squad, which is kind of a game that got announced and then very quietly kind of pushed to the side a little bit. All right, seemed like something that might be there for launch, and then I think they're saying summer 2023 now. But they're saying naturally engage with allies, and they're showing you kind of like waving your friends on and like come this way kind of thing, or it's safe. Let's go.
You'd think you'd be able to flip these people off, but I guess they could nerf that out in the software. Because I tried to do it in Horizon, and Steve called me down for it. Even though it wouldn't let me do it, it made me do this thing instead.
I mean, spread love, not hate, Wes.
I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that they're listing this as a next gen feature in this commercial. Honestly, that this is something that's been standard on other VR headsets for years and years, and I've never once really had a profound experience with it. It's always just been something that's there that doesn't really get utilized all that much. I mean, it's cool to push buttons with your finger instead of just kind of smacking things with your hand, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be better this time around.
Yeah, I'd be fine just smacking it with my whole hand, like more impactful, rather than being like I got to aim right there. But without tracking problems, it'll be way easier to aim that finger now. And plus, I think I think that this is. People do make a big deal about these kind of things, maybe a bigger deal than they should, about these like little, finger touch detection and hand tracking or whatever. It's usually stuff that I don't care about, but I think it is important for people who have only played PSVR 1 and saying, we're ditching those move controllers and look at the possibilities now. Whether those possibilities end up being anything or nothing. Here's all the next gen features. But you're right. We could probably get done without it.
It's probably cool. It's pretty cool to be able to thumbs up people. In fact, I remember there was one game. Was it Floor Pan 2? There was a game where you actually progress through the game by giving the other guy the thumbs up, and then you go into the next little thing, whatever you're supposed to do.
Oh, I feel like I played a game like that too. Was Survive? Did they say in Survive give the thumbs up if you understand? No, what was it? I don't remember. But there was something very recently, even on PSVR 1, where it's just like, this is how you give it a thumbs up, and then you do, and then move on. I don't know.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
If you haven't already, click the thumbs up, people. Come on.
So on topic. Beautiful segue. This is a question for you from the chat, Wes. Andrew with the $5 tip says, in your opinion, what stops someone from buying a USB-C adapter to USB and plugging that into a PC for PCVR? Maybe using the Quest controller layout.
Well, there was an article on this recently. First of all, on most modern computers, you don't need an adapter. There's a USB-C port right on mine, for example. But as I understand it, this thing is encrypted. The signals coming in and out of it are encrypted, and the difference between this headset and something like the PSVR 1 is when you plug the PSVR 1 into a PC, it just shows up like any other monitor, any kind of display.
Right.
And that made it very easy for people to kind of back engineer the drivers to get the thing working. The guy that did that with the original PCVR or PSVR, the guy that made that usable on PC, said that people shouldn't expect this one to ever be usable on PC unless Sony supports it, because by the time that they're able to actually crack the code on this one, we're going to be well into the next gen.
Which, of course, all modders and hackers out there took as a personal challenge from Sony. Like, we're gonna fucking do this on launch day, and I
Well, I
can't
hope
wait
they
to
do.
find out if
I
they
hope
do or not.
will. Yeah, I hope they do, but I don't believe it. Not anytime soon, anyway.
I hope they do too, man. Like, sell more headsets. You know, the more headsets they sell,
Now,
the bigger those numbers are, and the more people want to make
I
games
think
for
it's
PSVR2.
I think it's more likely that Sony officially supports it within, say, like 3 years or something than someone actually hacks it in.
I think you're on something. I mean, it took them 6 years to bring Horizon to PC, so like, yeah,
Well, I mean, they're releasing games like Returnal and stuff on Steam right now, and with official DualSense support. So all of the stuff about the controller that makes Returnal special, that's coming to Steam. You know, you can pair your DualSense right up to the Steam software and play it just like you had a PS5. Only now you've got all these ray tracing options and advanced graphics options that you don't have on the console. I could see something similar happening eventually with something like PSVR2, where you see PSVR2 titles come to Steam 1 year, 2 years after they launch on PlayStation, and supporting the same features to some extent than that they have on the console.
yeah. All right, man. I think we got 3 more features, which means 3 more games. So let's tackle the next one. Naturally engage with allies. Moving on from Sierra Squad, foveated rendering, which, as far as I'm concerned, could be used for any game. Any game that they show will be perfect for this.
And really quickly, something I meant to say a moment ago and didn't. Just the fact that Crossfire Sierra Squad was in this promo
Yeah.
makes me feel a little bit better about that game. Because I mean, this developer is, as a VR developer, is kind of an unknown, and I try not to get too hyped up about first-time VR devs, even if they do have a long history with flat releases. But the fact that Sony's confident enough in it to feature it tells me that there's probably some Sony money going into that game in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, a little bit more excited for that one now, seeing it in this trailer here.
Yeah, especially if you look up reviews of their flat screen versions of the Crossfire games. One of the last ones I think was on Xbox or something got horrible reviews. So hopefully with Sony's guidance and a little bit more development time and money, they can make something really special. But the Crossfire series is huge in other countries. So hopefully we'll see what all the fuss is about.
Agree.
Wes, focus on every terrifying detail in Village with foveated rendering.
I think this was a good example, because again, this was the game they told us looks better in VR than on flat,
Right.
And it's amazing on flat. So how would they be able to pull that off? Foveated rendering is how they pull it off. So yeah, that's a good one. Gran Turismo 7 would be another good one in this instance.
Agreed. Pushing play. All right, eye tracking. This one's going to be the one I think we have a lot of thoughts on, because what they show is not unexpectedly the same thing they showed in the first Feel the New Real teaser, Firewall Ultra. But in that teaser, they were showing weapon selection. Right, you bring up a weapon wheel of some kind, and you look at the weapon you want, and boom, you're holding it. This time, it's showing grenades, and you're aiming with true precision. And so the dude is holding a grenade in his hand and then tracking your eyes for the target. And he goes from one target to another, and then boom. I'm a little concerned about this one, Wes.
Yeah, I was wondering what your take was going to be on this, because, well, first of all, when I saw them talk about the eye tracking in this context, I kind of assumed that it would be Firewall, but I thought it would be just focusing on the weapon selection, because they've shown that to us a few times already. I was not expecting to see them tossing grenades as if you're still holding an aim controller when you're not still holding an aim controller.
Right.
That's a little weird, man. That's a little weird. I got to be honest.
Just like in the PSVR1 era, options are king. That's what we want. We want options, options, options. And so, for accessibility, this is great for people who don't have the range of motion to actually boom, throw a grenade. Great. I would love if this is something you can just turn off completely. Like you don't need the visual white line arc, but it's still registering like where you're looking, and maybe use that as an aim assist or turn it off completely, because there's a lot of different things you're doing in Firewall, right? Sometimes you throwing a grenade and running in the other direction because somebody's over there. Like you're trying to like find cover, but you throw the grenade to give yourself the time to get cover. And so like I feel like eye tracking is like maybe not best suited for grenades, because how frequently are you standing there and going, I want to do this and make sure it's the right place and throw it. You just have to really rely on your hand motion in the arc of your throw.
Yeah, throwing mechanics are something that vary greatly from game to game. And if the game has perfect throwing mechanics, then I don't want any aim assist, eye tracking or otherwise. But there have been games where it's been less than perfect, the throwing mechanics. And in that case, I'm okay with aim assist, but I do prefer a more measured approach to it. So, like, I don't want the grenade just to always go exactly where I'm looking. It would be nice if it kind of guided it in that direction. Because I've even seen cases of some games that, well, I guess eye tracking would kind of. I was about to say I've had some cases of games trying to determine where you intend to throw or shoot something, but doing it inaccurately. NFL Pro Era is a great example of that. Like I'm trying to throw to a guy down the field, and the game with its aim assist has me throwing underneath, and that's not what I'm intending to be doing. I guess eye tracking would mitigate that a little bit. But yeah, the optimal situation for me would be just that the throwing mechanics are perfect, and I don't have any aim assist on whatsoever.
Yeah. I really want knuckle straps, man. Like I want to feel like I'm throwing a grenade and open all my fingers and thumb at once and go boom and not lose my controller and throw it across the room, or even have it end up dangling from my hand and then have to grab it in a weird way. I don't want that to happen mid firefight. I want to throw my grenade and still be able to close my hand and have my Sense controller where it should be.
Velcro gloves. That's what you need.
Yeah?
Just stick them right in there.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally going to do that. Maybe. That sounds like something I'd say I'm going to do, and then I never fucking do it.
Worth a try. I don't think it would be too hard to pull that off, and I think it would probably work pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get too enthusiastic about it, you can still throw it,
Jay in the chat says, you wouldn't overhand a grenade at that distance. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know shit about shit, right? When it comes to weapons, I'm like you wouldn't, you would just toss it like this, be like, boom.
Shovel pass. The shovel pass. You start it with your chest and you just kind of throw it out,
I don't know. I'm just taking you guys' word for it. And then finally, the last feature they address is headset feedback, which I'm super duper excited for. I don't know what this is gonna feel like. It depends who you talk to. But when I talked to the Song in the Smoke developers the other day, we watched them play their game for a very long time, and they described everything. They talked about going underwater. They talked about standing under waterfalls, and they said that very few developers are going to use the full range of this thing because it can go really high. They can turn that shit very high but that would be irritating. But what they're saying is that it's extremely versatile in terms of what it's going to be able to convey feeling wise through the headset. And so I love that they chose After the Fall, which again, another PSVR1 remaster. I should have really paid attention to this prior. Zombie's about to punch you in the face.
Oh yeah, the Juggernaut has you, right?
Yeah. That's definitely something I want to feel. Kind of.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
When I think about the possibilities with the haptics, especially the head haptics, I got to go old school with this one, man. I think about Thumper. I think about that boom, boom, that rhythm,
violence,
and then grinding those rails as you go around the curves and hopping over those things on the track. You're going to feel all that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Even you got me excited just to replay that game, like using the DualSense. Forget about the headset haptics.
Yeah,
that's gonna be really good. I bet they're gonna. Yeah, and so it's funny because like certain games. certain games definitely make me think, oh wow, like they're going to be really deserving of an upgrade charge, right? Some games where I'm like, oh, all developers should just give us the upgrades for free and then charge all the new players. There's going to be so many new players, it's going to be great. I don't know. I've been going back and forth on it quite a bit, and obviously, I'm always pro consumer, but when it comes to developers who need, maybe some of these developers are struggling, maybe they're not. I have no idea, but when you really go in and if they really deliver some of these next gen features into their PSVR1 games now on PSVR2, I mean, I think we're going to be very, very appreciative. That doesn't feel like a quick and dirty remaster, right? Like, oh, we just up-resed everything and shoved it back out the door. No, that's not what they're doing. They're taking the time and taking advantage of all these features. And so when it comes down to that stuff, I'm like, maybe a slight charge is in order. We'll see.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential here with this regard. Next gen remasters for last gen masterpieces.
Yeah. And a nice little shot of the PSVR2 coming at us, and that is it. Available 2/22/2023, which, if you're not in the U.S., it means coming the 22nd month of the year, second day of the month.
It means 2 weeks, son. That's what it means. It means we're almost there.
That is exactly what it means. But you know what? You know what the end of the show means? It means it's time for 20 questions, Wes. That was a horrible transition.
Got us there, though. Got the job done, sir.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a rough ride, but we always get to our destination. All right, you guys.
That's what my wife says too.
I didn't. I thought mine was bad enough. Guys, if again, lots and lots of new cats hitting up the channel today. Shocking numbers. I've just again. Thank you guys so very much. If any new cats are out there, I want to give a shout out to Tidux, Tidux, who's been following the channel for a while and retweeted. He's got, like 20-something thousand followers over on Twitter. He retweeted my shit today, and that was just like insane. It's funny because you'll see people like Shuhei Yoshida retweet my stuff or tweet things about the channel, and you'll see like a minor uptick. When Tidux retweeted, it was like drastic. So crazy shit out there. Just a good reminder that it's you guys that help this channel grow. It's not just you showing up and clicking the like and subscribe and anything else. It's when you share these videos. It's when you retweet tweets, and you can really get the Without Parole name out there. So thank you guys, everybody who retweeted and everybody who liked today. Really appreciate you guys so very much.
Way to move the needle, people. We appreciate it.
Big time. And don't forget to subscribe to Wes, Virtual Strangers. Okay, it is time, dude, for 20 questions. I'm going to put 6 minutes up on the clock up on the counter. I can't, again, the mouse literally not working properly. I have no idea how we got through this show the way we were supposed to. Just jamming on the button. I have, Wes is thinking of a PSVR game. This is how 20 questions works. And I have 20 yes or no questions, and you guys out there, 20 yes or no questions to help me figure out what game this is. So please ask good questions in the chat. I will pick and choose, and also give me good suggestions based on the answers that we get. Wes, do you have a game picked out?
I do.
All right, well, in that case, here we go. On your mark.
Was that your first question? Oh, never mind.
Okay. It's not my first question. On your mark, get Des. Go. Has this game been announced for PSVR 2 yet? Is it PSVR 1 remaster?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Potted Noodle asks, is it a shooter?
I mean, there's some very shooting like things in it. I wouldn't consider it like as just a shooter. No.
Okay, but you do shoot some stuff. All right, we got it.
There's some technical shooting going on in it. Yeah.
Great Tantrum in the chat is wondering if it's a puzzle game.
No, not a puzzle game.
Okay, so definitely no puzzles, but yes, some shooting. Excuse me. Ooh, let's clarify. we got to get this shooting thing kind of taken care of a little bit more, I think. And I know you don't want us to go down this road. You probably a different path to go down. But I do like that Looper, the underground game cat, is asking if there's archery.
No,
No,
there's no archery. Not that I recall. No.
Okay. Old Darth is asking if it's based on a known IP.
It is. That's 5.
Ooh, guys, we got to figure out the IP. Okay, so let's figure this out. We should probably ask if it's an IP in video games or movies or TV. Is the IP either TV or movies by any chance?
It is.
Okay. That really starts limiting. Oh man, the chat's disappeared. Okay. TV or movies? There's only so many that it could be.
Yeah, you've already got me dead to rights. You're gonna do it. I have faith.
Is this a Walking Dead game by any chance?
It's not.
Okay, that eliminates that. Is this? See, you said it's not. You said there's shooting, but there's other stuff that you're doing. So I don't think we go down the Transformers route. Are you in a vehicle?
Not primarily, no. I mean, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that.
Is this based in the Star Wars universe?
No.
Okay, no Star Wars guy. That eliminates Squadrons. That eliminates Vader Immortal. Oh, good one, Brandon. Is this in the Marvel universe?
Yes, it is, Brandon.
Brandon putting me down the right path. Was this game made by? Let's just make sure we got this absolute. Was this made by Camouflage?
It was indeed actually made by Camouflage.
Wes, I'm just guessing here. This is totally out of left field. By any chance, is this game Iron Man VR?
It absolutely is Iron Man VR. Well done, Brandon. Well done, Looper, who was the first person I saw that had it.
Oh man,
And,
sorry,
well done,
Looper,
Bryan.
I missed you. Amazing.
Yeah, Iron Man VR. Well done. We should be getting a next gen version of this, but it is kind of up in the air at this point because, Camouflage, they play for the other team now.
Means different things in our worlds, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the IP is from Sony, right? I think Sony has the rights to it, and then Sony kind of chose Camouflage, I think, to develop it, or Camouflage kind of petitioned Sony to be the ones to develop this. So, yeah, it would be really interesting to see how this all goes down if we get a next gen version of it. I'm assuming because of the way Meta phrased it when they announced this for Quest 2. They said, great collaboration with Sony. I think there would have had to have been a discussion there that says, you're buying the studio, we're allowing you to use our IP, and then on top of that, you're going to allow Camouflage to develop a next gen version of this for us a year after your version.
Even if it were just a port, like when you play this game over on Quest, you have full stick locomotion in the house. Like some of the things that we were nitpicking about the PSVR version, they've corrected since then. I'd like to see those improvements to come over here at some point.
Agreed.
Now, if they want to incorporate the next gen haptics and all that stuff too, that would be amazing. But yeah, it seems like a good candidate for a next gen upgrade for sure.
Yeah, agreed. We were talking about Infamous and how great it would feel to kind of hover off the ground, and you really feel that in the Sense controllers. You would feel it so much more in an Iron Man game, right? Because you're actually, boom, and then you take off, and it's like, Jesus, and maybe get a little vibration in the headset when you take off, just to kind of make you feel like you're really accelerating. Man,
yeah,
it's great.
Possibilities, Bryan. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Masterm 12, M4 Sturm 12 in the chat with the $5 tip says, please don't overwork yourself when PSVR2 comes out. definitely shooting for a complete and total overload and mental breakdown. And I'm definitely gonna work pretty fucking hard. Hey, what's up, buddy?
No sleep.
No sleep, not till Brooklyn. But yeah, it'll be fun, you guys. I think I can't wait for you guys to be there with me on launch day and share the excitement of unboxing and really just kind of going through the motions. And I'll disappear here and there for like, okay, well, I got to set up this stream. I'll be gone for like the next half hour, but come back in a half an hour because here we go. We're gonna you guys are gonna be there with me for my absolute very first impressions of this thing. And what, Wes, you're gonna be doing crazy shit on your channel too. We're gonna have this thing covered.
Well, yeah, but between you and I and AJ and Miles, I'd say that we're pretty much constantly someone's going to be on the air all day, streaming on one of our channels. So, yeah, I can't wait.
By the way, Geisen in the chat reminds us that Endeavor 1 handled the port of Iron Man VR. So maybe Endeavor 1 will be handling the PSVR2 port as well.
Makes sense.
You heard it here first. It might not be true, but if it is, you heard it here first.
If it's not, you did.
Yeah. Wes, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love Wednesdays just as much as I love Mondays and Fridays. Maybe a little bit more.
Thank you for saying that, Bryan. That's nice, I think. But thank you for having me. It was a blast as always. I can't express how excited I am right now, dude. Every time I think about how soon it's coming, I just want to scream. I want to start acting like AJ and get all bombastic when I start thinking about how close this thing is.
Yeah, dude, I definitely the shot in the arm that VR needs at this point to kind of step forward into next generation, to kind of show the world what AAA VR really means. So excited. Tornado's just like, what are you doing, bud? What are you doing? You want to get on camera? No. Okay. The second I try to get her on frame, in frame, it's all over. So excited. Let's Rock 82 says 5 more shows. Very fucking excited. Can't wait. Let's do this. Guys, thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Again, you guys came out in droves today to support me and without Parole in general. So thank you very much for that. Please keep it up. We love you. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel in different ways, like Sci-Fi GameCat Henry, who puts the timestamps in this after the show is over. All the moderators who keep me sane. I kid you not. Like some days it's harder than others. And of course, everyone who hangs out in the chat, everyone who supports us on patreon.com/withoutprogames, everyone who tips during the show to get their shit read, everybody who gets their viewer takeover questions into the viewer takeover channel on Discord. Don't forget to join us over on Discord. And of course, everybody who watches the show sits back and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Happy Wesday, Wes.
Happy Wesday, Bryan.
Let's get out of here.
14 days.
14 days. Oh, that's not it. I told you my mouse doesn't work. Where's the... There it is. Here's the intro, the outro, whatever it is. Tornado, what are you doing, man? Get out of the way. Ah, I can't see my coffee. God, this mouse doesn't work. You know, Wes, you can pick your nose and you can pick your friends.
But you can't tune a fish, Bryan.
But you can't tune a fish. I love it. All right, man. Anything happening on Virtual Strangers tonight?
Absolutely. It's fluid this week. We keep changing our minds what we want to do. What I think we're going to do, the Steam Next Fest is going on right now, and there's a list of demos for upcoming VR titles.
Nice.
So we're going to pick out a handful of those. Although the one I was looking forward to the most, Jupiter Grad 2, is notoriously missing from the list for some reason. But then after we do that, we're going to talk about some of those demos, and then we're going to real time review the demo for Vertigo 2, which just got updated recently.
Nice. As
we approach the launch. That game looks amazing, and I've never played the demo, so we're gonna experience it all for the first time live together tonight on Strangers in the Night.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I keep being told that Vertigo 1 and 2 are games that I need to pay attention to. And obviously the developer said he wants to bring Vertigo 2 to PSVR2, so hopefully that's something we'll be able to cover over here soon enough.
Yeah, I asked him specifically about that a couple months ago, actually. And
Nice.
I would. It's coming. It just won't be soon, but it will eventually make its way over.
As most things probably will.
Right.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Wes.
Good night, Brian.